Day 24, Apostle. Let's do this. Apostle was released in 2018. In 1905, a drifter on a dangerous mission to rescue his kidnapped sister tangles with a sinister religious cult on an isolated island. Typically, I try not to dabble in any horror movies that deal with religion or cults because things tend to just get muddy and played out, and I've seen it all before. But in recent memory, there's actually been a lot of examples that separate from that, and I find a lot to enjoy in these movies, Apostle being one of them. This film resists easy scares in favor of a slow burn descent into madness. And that's thanks largely in part to Dan Stevens, who continues to act his ass off. I watched this in the height of my Dan Stevens craze. I watched The Rental, The Guest, and then this was third on my list. I feel like also another thing that keeps this movie so fresh is because it was set in the early 1900s and their ways of dealing with religion and dealing with people who they claim to be cursed or witches is handled a lot differently. And the way that it's handled in this movie is very grim and graphic, and I appreciate that. On the surface, this really just looks like your typical period piece, but the second half of this movie cranks it up to an 11, and no character really feels safe at that point. This movie, I feel like, takes a close look at oppression and how religion can play a part in that, both in a positive and negative light. In this instance, mainly negative, because, like I said, it's the early 1900s. There's some fantastical elements incorporated here in the story, but mainly it's just got a very gothic look to it. Almost like a dark fairy tale or something. I think this film provides good examples both of how power can be corruptive and a patriarchy can be destructive. Both, I feel, very prevalent themes in today's society. I guess some things never change. Gareth Evans is proving himself to be a very consistent director, and his storytelling ability in Apostle is perfectly done. And he has a way of making all of the supporting cast in this movie feel like pieces of meat that are just lined up for a slaughterhouse, and it's a very satisfying treat. Apostle is grisly, it's atmospheric, it's aggressive, and if you're into period pieces or anything gothic looking, definitely give this one a go. It's streaming on Netflix for free, so go check it out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 25. Peace.